Welcome back here once again. I did a review for the movie Prey. I went through it step by step. I talked about some of the things I liked, some of the things I didn't like. I talked about how the very direction that they took the movie in, how certain things were not believable, how certain things would have been done differently, how they didn't represent certain things properly. However, the star of Prey, Amber Midthunder, in this article from Bowling into Comics, pushes back against critics who claim film is super woke. Says they have no idea what they're talking about. Now, I would not say the movie was super woke. What I would say is that it leaned too heavily in trying to push woman power narrative without properly building up the character. I stated that very clearly. I actually liked Naru. If they had done certain things differently with her, it would have really made her a better star for the show. They could have done certain things differently to actually make the whole thing a little more interesting. Then we could have said, well, okay, this is going on, this would make sense, this is a good movie, fine. But they didn't do that. So anyway, let's get into it. Prey star Amber Midthunder is of the opinion that any critic who found the latest Predator sequel to be super woke, particularly those whose judgments have been clouded by pre-release expectations that its story would consist of Hollywood standard ideological browbeating, has no idea what they're talking about. There was some ideological browbeating in it, I will say that, but again, as I said, I wouldn't call the movie super woke at all. She gave an interview or something, and she said, and this is what when she was asked thoughts on fan skepticism towards the idea that her character, the mid-sized at best Comanche warrior Naru, could take on a hulking and technologically advanced predator. Midthunder wrote the sentiment off as nothing more than the opinion of haters. People are always going to say stuff, but that's just noise. Honestly, those people have no idea what they're talking about. Now, again, as I said, if she and her brother had worked together to take out the predator, it would have made much more sense. But even if, because somebody said to me that, the predator was already wounded and that's how she got the upper hand. Any wounded animal, any wounded individual, even if you're a person, an animal, whatever, once you're wounded, you become even more dangerous because now you're lashing out to do something. But when you saw the sort of thing she was doing, as I said, some of it didn't make too much sense. You could have set it up properly and had her and her brother work together to take out the predator. She could have still delivered the finishing killing blow. They could have worked together. It would have made proper sense for the story, but you didn't do that. She then turned to explain, first of all, I feel really proud of our movie, and I think that the director is an incredible filmmaker. He has made something that people can eat their words over. I think a lot of people thought our movie would be some super woke F the patriarchy kind of story, and that's not what it's about at all. It's not a girl defying what men say she can and can't do. It's literally an individual who feels called to something, and the people who know her don't think that is her calling. That is so much more personal, and I think as the character, harder to deal with than anything. Except that's exactly what it's about. It's about a girl defying what people say she can, because even if you say to yourself that, okay, she just wants to calling to do something that people don't know her, don't think that is her calling. There was never any actual build-up as to why she wanted to be a hunter, no story about it, nothing to build up to get you to understand this person, this character, and why they're doing this. There's even a part in the story where she's asked, why do you want to be a hunter? And she says it's because people say I can't. So she's literally a girl defying what men says she can't and can't do, because throughout the movie they keep, some of the warrior men keep telling her to go back home, she's not here. But you get a person who's supposedly great at everything, because she's a great tracker, great fighter. The only time you ever see her practicing with the tomahawk is like once, and she's somehow good with it. And I mean, come on, there's no build up at all. It's just, okay, this person is good at this and this needs to be doing this because why this person is female and the men who do it and she's better than them. That's really all it is. According to Midthunder, much of this criticism was based on the fact that people don't know a lot about Native history, period. So they don't know what kind of warriors we were. There are people who don't even know that there are different tribes or languages, she elaborated. So already that's coming from a place of ignorance. Then you look at it and you go, oh man, oh no man, Comanche were really, really great warriors. They were known for being some of the fiercest warriors of all, and they did have female warrior society, so there were women that fought and hunted. Okay, now I looked into that with the female warrior society. I looked into it, and what I found was that there weren't female warrior society. There were female warriors. I should say this, like, okay, there were women in the Comanche Nation who did go out and hunt and who accompanied some of the men on raiding parties and things like this. But this was not something that they did all the time. Sometimes, like, if it is, they were married and they didn't have any children, anything like that, they would accompany their husband, something like that. But once, they would do it probably once, twice, maybe in their entire lifetimes, and then that would be it. They would settle back into a role of mother and childbearer and house and all this kind of thing and guarding the village. But they did guard the villages, they did fight. So it did have female warriors in the Comanche Nation. As I said, they were there, right? But they weren't like, this was a permanent thing, because for the men, this was basically a lifelong thing. For the women, it was something that they did sometimes, occasionally. They weren't warriors as is. This is what I found out. If somebody knows something differently, okay, please let me know. But this is the information that I got researching into it, right? So there is that point. But when you look at the movie now, there are no other female warriors in that entire Comanche tribe other than her. None. And everybody just allows her to go out and do it, because if it is that you're trying to tell me that, it was basically the women were healers and they would stay at home and things like this, why would everybody just be okay with her going out there, hunting, tracking, all these kind of things, and say nothing about it? And if somebody wants to say, well, oh, there were probably other female warriors, then why didn't they show them? This was a problem with this movie. They never delved in to the actual Comanche Nation itself. They were just basically background characters like Comanche 1, Comanche 2, Comanche 3. That was it. They never delved into these people, so we got no idea of who they were. All we knew was that Naru wanted to be a hunter, and she was apparently good at everything else and went out to do it. That was it. That's all that we got. She continues and says, so yeah, I think you look at that and you just tell yourself, all right, whatever, people are always going to say stuff. I'm proud of what we did. To this end, added Midthunder, rather than exposing a woke message, she focused herself on making sure the film brought positive representation to the Comanche peoples. There's never a moment that I'm not thinking about representation or just what that accomplishes, detailed the actress, especially a movie like this, how it's representing indigenous people and what that might mean, or how people might receive that or feel about being represented by it. To me, that was the most important part of making the movie. Except there was barely any kind of representation for these people and anything like that at all. As I said, there was no building upon the entire Comanche Nation thing. Just basic little glimpses and drops and references here and there. She then continued, every single day I was coming to work, and what I would think about from when I woke up to when I went to bed was, how is this representing Native people? How is this representing Comanche people? And I really hope that Indian country would like it. People, that to me was where it started. Because that to me was where it started. That was where I felt like it lives and dies, and then we go from there. Okay, I laid it on a little thick there, and I could understand you wanting to do something for your nation like that. But again, as I said, there was not much representation for these native people in this movie at all. Honestly speaking, there wasn't. And then she has to continue and use the line that everybody needs to use when they're talking about representation. To have kids come up to me or parents come up on behalf of their kids and be like, they're such a big fan. She's so inspired by your character. That's something I could have never dreamed of. And I just feel so emotional about it. This is a staple that they all have to see. That some child will come up to them and say, but okay, I'm so happy because you look like me, because you're of the same race, and that makes me so happy. I mean, that should not be. It shouldn't be that just because, okay, there's nothing wrong with somebody, whether the person is black, whether the person is Native American, whether the person is white, whether the person is Indian, being on TV and somebody saying to themselves, okay, well, glad to see somebody there of this returning. Nothing wrong with that. But when that is all that you need to leave and say that this is how you're representing people, no. It should never be just about skin color or race or anything like that. It should be about the ideals of the person, the character. This is what they should really appeal to. I know people who were Native American, who were Indian, who loved Han Solo and wanted to be like Han Solo. I liked Superman as a character. I really like Superman. I'm black. That doesn't mean I wanted to bleach my skin to become Superman. No, I like the character. I like the ideas. I like the way Superman was created and presented. I was interested in that, not anything else. That was it for me. So those skin color kind of thing wasn't necessarily a big part that played in it. So when you try to do this thing, because you keep seeing a lot of them manufacturing this statement, you get to understand where they're really coming from. Now, again, as I said, she was in the movie. She's entitled to her opinion. I did a review of it. I talked about why I thought the movie overall wasn't very good, because of certain things that they did. But I will say again, I will not call the movie super woke. It leaned a little too damn hard towards pushing female empowerment without properly building up the character. And this is the problem. There was no struggle, there was no growth. It was just basically she was good at everything and was able to do it perfectly, and was able to do it good, and able to take out the predator. And it didn't make sense if you look at it from a standpoint. If you just remove the headspace thinking of, okay, he don't like her because she's female, you will understand what I'm getting at. I have no problem with a female lead. I even said this, that I like the idea of a predator in a time period like that, fighting Native Americans. I like the idea of that. But you have to present a movie properly. And if you don't, it ends up becoming a problem. Let me know your thoughts in the comment. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, try to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. Be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.